Marhaba wa ahla wa sahla fikum. Hope you're well and having a wonderful day. Welcome to another session of conjugating our Levantine Arabic verbs, and in today's case we've got an auxiliary which is in fact a preposition. In Levantine Arabic we do have a number of auxiliaries and prepositions are used on a different meaning, unlike the way are used in modern Arabic. So here we've got il. Il in Arabic is used on the meaning of for, has or have. It is actually derived from MSA, modern Arabic, which is the preposition li when you conjugate it with possessive pronouns. So you can say li sanatun, li arba'ina sana fi London, which means for me I have been 40 years. I've been living in London for 40 years. However, in dialect they tend to add an extra vowel before it and it becomes il. This would lead to confuse students a lot when they tend to mix it with the definite article, or when they tend to mix it with idafa, some of these idafa structures. So il in Arabic was used a lot on the meaning of to have or has, and equally used on the meaning of for. So like would say ilo, it's for him, for example. On the right hand side you've got the subject pronouns, and it is ana, enta, enti, nahna, entu, huwa, hiya and hinna. Coming back to il in Arabic, as I mentioned, it is not a verb. In fact, it is a preposition. However, when we tend to conjugate it with possessive pronouns or ownership pronouns, it has, or then the meaning changes to be rather something very useful, which would mean to have or for. For example, if you would ask, Lamin hadal alam, whose this pen is, you would say Ili, it's mine, it's for me. Ilo, it's for him, it's his. But then equally you could use it to refer to like I have, or it's mine. And the way we conjugate it, we tend to conjugate it with those possessive pronouns, ownership pronouns, which I have covered immensely in so many times in so many tutorials, just simply because a lot of you are finding it a little bit difficult to get your heads around it. So that's why always trying to explain in a different way and look at it from a different angle. So hopefully you find it a bit easier to understand. Let's have a look at how we conjugate it. So the conjugation of il, it's similarly to bid and and other auxiliaries. So what would you do? You will add those possessive pronouns to the end of il, and then the meaning would change completely. So ili, I have. Ilak, you have masculine. Ilik, you have feminine. Ilna, we have. Ilkon, you have group of people. Ilo, he has. Ila, she has. Ilhon, they have. As you see, il stays the same with all these conjugation because nothing happens to it, and it is the main structure. But what changes? The ending. The ending changes. Ending changes depending on every subject pronouns. So you add an e for I masculine feminine, an ak you add it for you masculine, an ek sound you add it for you feminine, an na for we, kon for you group of people, an o for him, an a for her, and hon or on for they group of people. So il stays the same, but what we tend to change is we tend to add a different or a specific possessive pronoun for every subject pronoun. That's how we know who we're talking about. So if I use ili for every subject pronouns, nobody would know what we're talking about. In fact, nobody would know who's the owner of a certain item if I'm using e for every subject pronoun. So that doesn't really work. And for that, in Arabic, we do have a specific possessive pronoun or an ownership pronoun for every person. So I would say, ana ili, I have. Inta ilak, you have masculine. Inti ilek, you have feminine. Nahna, we group of people. Ilna, we have. Intu, you group of people. Ilkon, you have. Huwa ilo, he has. Hiya ila, she has. Hinna ilon, they have group of people. Ili, ilak, ilek, ilna, ilkon, ilo, ila, ilon. And the meaning, I have, you have masculine, you have feminine, we have, you have group of people, he has, she has, and they have. And then the most important question is, how do we tend to form the past tense? So here it is. How do we put il into the past tense? simply you add can before it. So you say can ili, can ilak, can ilek, can ilna, can ilkon, can ilo, can ila, can ilon. Which makes it a little bit easier because all you need to do is just to add can before all this conjugation and not to worry that you need to even to conjugate can for every person. No, don't worry about it. All you need to do is just to add can before it and simply you put in the past tense. Easy peasy. Nothing to worry about. So first you need to memorize your conjugation. Then if you want to put in the past tense, all you need to do is just to add can before the conjugation and that's it. Voila. So you don't need to do anything else because it stays the same and the conjugation doesn't really change, but obviously you have to change the conjugation for el by adding the appropriate possessive or ownership pronoun. Similarly to the previous two tutorials I have made with the other two auxiliaries, if you want to form the future tense, all you need to do is to add رح يكون. So رح means will, to refer to the future, and يكون is the verb to be. I know some of you might struggle with how will it be I have, but the overall meaning it is I will need or I will be needing. So that is the overall meaning. I know some of you might struggle understanding, well, how does it mean I have? And then I'll use the future and then the verb to be. So the overall meaning means I will need or I will be needing to do so and so. Similarly to the past tense, the future tense is really easy. All you need to do is just to add rah with the verb to be on one conjugation. You do not need to go ahead and conjugate it. I know some of you are going to ask, why didn't we conjugate it? Well, if you conjugate it, it's a middle week irregular verb. So then you have to remember the conjugation for every single subject pronoun, which is going to take you more time to memorize it. So here we've got an easy solution or an easy grammar for you or step to do in order to memorize it. All you need to do is رح يكون, proceed with all the conjugation, and voila, that's it. You don't need to do anything else. So رح يكون إلي, رح يكون إلك, رح يكون إلك, رح يكون إلنا, رح يكون إلكن, رح يكون إلو, رح يكون إلا, and رح يكون إلون. That's it. You don't need to do anything else. Answer one of your question previously, how do we negate it? Simply you add ma before il. So you say ma ili, ma ilak, ma ilik, ma ilna, ma ilkon, ma ilo, ma ila, ma ilon, and that's it. So if you want to negate it, you always add it to the beginning of any of these structures as well, whether it's in the present form or the past form or the future form. That's it. You don't need to do anything else but add ma, which means not. And el, the other main use for el as well in dialect, people tend to use it on the meaning of have been or how long have you been, and that is in combination with sar. And I've previously covered this tutorial before, so I'll leave the link in the comment section below or in the cards section, so have a look at it as well. There's a really good tutorial there for you to look at it. So the first use is el, where you would use it for human relationships, such as I have a family, have a brother, have a sister, and some of the abstract meaning. Plus you would use el on the meaning of have been with the help or with the addition of sar, which means have been. So we'd use that a lot with el. Now I've got a couple of sentences for you in order to help you to understand el. And the first one, which I just mentioned it, on the meaning of sar. So say sar ilo سنتين مع الشركة. And people don't tend to pronounce the there, so they tend to join it all together. And they would say sarlo سنتين مع الشركة. He has been 2 years with the company. He has been working for 2 years with the company. Sarlo سنتين, 2 years, مع, with, الشركة, the company. قد ايه صار لكم متزوجين؟ قد ايه, how long? صار, have been, لكم, for you group of people, متزوجين, married. قد ايه صار لكم متزوجين? And similarly to the previous sentence, people tend to not to pronounce the or the airy vowel there, and they tend to join the R or the L directly, so it becomes one word. And for lots of you students find it a little bit hard to distinguish between both vocabulary because you hear it as one. So you'd say قد صار لكم متزوجين. How long have you been married? And the third sentence, الفندق إله نادي رياضي. الفندق إله, the gym has. نادي, a gym. Nadi, a club. رياضي, sport. So a sport club, it's a gym. الفندق إله نادي رياضي. الفندق إله نادي رياضي. Does the hotel have a gym? A, yes. وإله كمان, and it has. وإله كمان, and it has as well. كمان. قسم, a section, a department. معالجة رياضية, physio. معالجة رياضية, physio. So معالجة رياضية refers to physio. Again, الفندق إله نادي رياضي. A, وإله كمان قسم معالجة رياضية. هي إلها عم تشتغل لحالها بالتدريس من 15 سنة. هي إلها عم تشتغل لحالها بالتدريس من 15 سنة. هي إلها, she has been, عم تشتغل, working, لحالها, by herself, for herself, meaning as a self-employed. بالتدريس, in teaching. من, since. 15 سنة, years. So she has been teaching for 15 years as a self-employed individual. As a self-employed. هن إلهن أكتر من 7 سنين بيروحوا لنفس المدينة وبيقضوا إجازتهم هنيك. هن إلهن, they have been, أكتر, more, من 7 سنين, more than 7 years. من, than, 7 سنين, years. بيروحوا, they go. لنفس, to the same. المدينة, the city. وبيقضوا, and they spend time. إجازتهم, their holiday. هنيك, there. هن إلون أكتر من 7 سنين بيروحوا لنفس المدينة وبيقضوا إجازتهم هنيك. They've been going to the same city for their holiday for 7 years. They've been going to the same city for 7 years. إلي أخ وأخت أصغر مني. إلي, I have. إلي, I have. أخ, brother. وأخت, sister. أصغر, younger. Minni, than me. I have a younger brother and sister. Great. And with this, I'll end today's session. Hope now you understand the use of il. Il, the preposition, but when we tend to conjugate it with the possessive pronouns, it rather becomes something very useful, which would mean to have or has. It's really useful structure. People tend to use it a lot in dialect specifically because it's really functional and easy to conjugate opposed to some of the other particles or auxiliaries in modern standard Arabic, and that is one of the things that people like to learn dialect opposed to modern standard Arabic, which is the language of media and publication, and this is the language of everyday situation. If you go down to the market, talk to family, or buy some fish and chips, you'll speak Levantine Arabic, which is dialect. With that, I'll end today's session. Hope you found it helpful, and if you did, don't forget to give a big thumbs up and share it with your friends and family, so hopefully they as well. And definitely consider to support the channel, as this would give me the ability to make more tutorials and videos for you all to benefit from. With that, I'll end today's session. Till next time, stay safe. Ma salame.